This is Kalc. Hey everyone, I'm Kalia, creator and host of the Admiration series with a focus in creative women in business. So Bethany here, and it's in collaboration with Kalc. And today on the show, like I said, I've got Bethany. She is the creator, CEO, owner of Snazz magazine. So thank you so much for joining us, Bethany. How are you feeling today?
Very, very good. Thank you.
That's amazing. So good to have you on the show. I have been following you on Instagram for quite some time and just I keep sort of ducking in and see your business just growing and growing over the time. And it's really inspiring for me because of what you do with small businesses. I love the content you share. I love the reels that you do on your Instagram to support your magazine. And also the colors, like your branding is so on point and it's so admirable and very aspiring, even for somebody like me who's been in the creative industry for, gosh, like 10 years. So it's really just so wonderful and fantastic to see. But more than that, I see you as like a business coach and someone who offers so many different tips for entrepreneurs. So I'm really excited just to get to know your story a bit more. And that's kind of where I want to start. I want to know a little bit more about your inflection points that you had that got you to releasing Snazz magazine.
So basically, I started off doing so many different businesses. Since I was 16, I've always wanted to be my own boss from the beginning, but they didn't work. They all failed. I spent a lot of money on all of these different ideas, all these different creations. And I didn't want other people to have to do the same. And I didn't want everyone to have to make all of the mistakes I made to become successful. Yes, we all make mistakes and we all learn from them, but maybe not quite as many as I did. And I would like to just have a platform really that showcases all of that so that you don't have to go through that step and it can be fun and easy rather than stressful.
Yeah, for sure. And when you were creating these different businesses, were they magazines as well, or was it different content or?
They are all different. I've gone from notebook stationery design to handmade gemstone jewelry design. I've done so many different things. I have done a magazine in the past that was successful, but I didn't have a passion for it anymore. So that was the last thing I would say I did, was the other magazine that was bridal based, but it just wasn't creative enough for me. It was a bit too elegant and I like to be funky.
Very cool. And Snazz magazine definitely is funky. Like,
Absolutely.
oh, the colors are just amazing, and your use of pattern, it's really a very beautiful magazine. Even if you were to take the content away from it, which is obviously the heart of the magazine, but it looks just gorgeous. So really big, well done on that. Amazing. So what do you think about Snazz? You were talking about these kind of other failed businesses. What do you think it is about Snazz that's giving it that success?
It's research. So I'm 23 now and I was 16 at the time. So it's research and experience. It's all of those things like added together. Each fail brought me even closer. Like each fail was better than the last one. They weren't all equal. They were all getting there. But it was also the fact that I rushed into things. I just went, yeah, I did, go for it. I didn't plan, I didn't do anything like that. But with this one, I just had my child. So I was like, I really need to focus now. So I did all my research and it really put my perspective in, this needs to work. So I made it work.
Amazing. Honestly, it's very inspiring. And you mentioned your child. We'll get maybe to the family stuff a little bit later on and how you balance those things. But kind of going back to the magazine, and you're talking about how it's, quite funky, and it's very obvious you have a lot of detail with trends, and you clearly must be very interested in that. So where does that come from? Is that something you learned through your mistakes and experiences, or does it come quite naturally to you?
That's quite natural when it comes to like design. I'm doing a degree in graphic design at the moment, but even before that, I've always done design and digital design based products. and I just love print, like everything from the smell of a brand new book just to the colors. I would buy books all the time. I've never read any of them. I just have them because I really appreciate the work that would have gone into them, but I don't know what it's about, which I know would have been just as important, but I just like it because I collect just print because I just love it so much.
And you can, I mean, I said it before, you can really see that in your magazine. I mean, the content, I guess, where did the inspiration come for the content and as well? Sort of reaching out to different small businesses and working with them in a very different way to maybe your traditional magazine?
It was just that everyone should have the same opportunities, and everyone should, like, no matter what, it should just be the same. You have lots of business magazines out there, but I wanted mine to be more of the fact that a creative career is just as important as any other career choice. And I know that some people go, oh, an artist, oh, okay, oh, a lawyer, oh, that's interesting, but they equally know just as much. And if anything, as a creative, you need to adapt constantly and continuously learn new things. And people could be judgmental about it, like about your work. Whereas if you're a doctor and you fix someone's leg, they can be happy. They can't really be too upset about that.
And so have you faced much judgment through the releasing of the magazine?
Probably from family and friends rather than actual other creatives, because they get it. Other creatives understand what I'm doing, whereas my family, like my nan, is like, oh my god, that's so expensive for a magazine. It's like, but it's not just a magazine, it's so much more. And when you want to start your own business, that investment is important, and it gives you so much more than just a little flick through on the train. So it's probably mainly from my nan and people probably a little bit older than me, like a different generation, because that is different to them and they're not used to all this technology, and it just confuses them, so they kind of stay away from it anyway.
And is that something that you were expecting, to kind of get some of this from family and friends, versus maybe, well, I don't know, even people like me, like strangers that, you know, because I can imagine you're following on Instagram, you've probably had an incredible amount of support. And so reflecting that back to family and friends, was that quite a, something hard to swallow, or were you prepared for that?
I was kind of prepared because they probably expected me to fail again because of all my other experiences. So I was like, yeah, they're not going to get it. They might be trying to tell me, like, maybe you should stop now. But, you know, my mum now, she's like, oh, I love all the videos you do. She doesn't understand why I do my reels or the purpose of them. But like, I like it. They're cool. It's funny. But it's like, it's a lot more than just that. But thank you.
Yeah. And how do you explain that, I guess, to people who maybe would like to understand the background behind how you use Instagram or how you use the reels to support your business?
I kind of just explain it as it's like a community and nurturing. So you want things people like as if they can relate to it and if it's funny, and then that will make them trust you as well, because, oh, this person knows exactly what I'm talking about. And then they go further and they dive more into your business and they invest in you emotionally. Whereas if they just have just a normal video, you know, that's the purpose of it. It almost feels like that person's talking directly to you.
Yeah.
And that's the connection you're making. Whereas obviously my mum's like, or my nan is like, well, that's not talking about your magazine. So, but it will do along that chain in time.
Yeah. So it's really, I mean, I underword a line here you just said about trust and nurturing and community. And I guess I want to dig into that a little bit more, because that sort of trust, community, nurturing is so much about what your magazine's about. So just talk me through your process from ideation, editing, printing, distribution, because my sort of assumption is you do or drive at least most of those processes. Is that right?
Absolutely. So the first stage for like the inspiration that I get is I just talk to my audience directly. I say to them, what do you struggle with your business? And then whichever is spoken about the most, I'll keep, and then I'll create my next magazine just on one of those particular topics that people struggle on, so that I know that I'm helping exactly what they want and what they need. So that's how I get my ideas. I just ask them directly through my stories. I just go, do you struggle with this? Do you not? How do you feel about this? And people are normally quite happy to talk about that because they know my intentions and it will benefit them in the future.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to like editing it, that's just more it's not too bad once you've done the first one, because it's like a template, and then you can just readjust it, change the colors and change like the layouts a little bit. So the next one that's coming out now, that's my first one for my brand new style of magazine. So this one's taken a bit longer because I had to start from scratch, but now I've done it, it'll be a bit easier because I just need to adapt it. And then I talk to experts. So this one is currently on Instagram. So I find other experts who are social media experts and stuff like that, and I do interviews with them. I have articles written, but with every article will be an interview, so that it's not just that person's opinion, it's another one, because everyone got somewhere in a different way. And I don't want it to be biased. I don't want it to be, oh, this is me, just me. I want it to be like, this is all your options of what you can do with your business. And then the printing side of it, I don't do that. I send that off. Someone else does that. And then it arrives, and then I'll just check through it. And then I send it off to people through my website. And that's really it. But I'm hoping to get into shops at some point. That would be very cool.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And I think the rate at what it appears your business is growing, I think that that will happen very much at some point. Thank you so much for sharing all of those different points in terms of the process. I think that we've spoken a little bit about this kind of pushback from either, you know, people around you or even friends and family online. I guess, you know, you've spoken a lot about failure and kind of making mistakes, and I'm all about that. I think it's fantastic to throw yourself into a situation and see what comes of it, learn, fail fast, fail hard, and then kind of move forward from that. So through that process, did you experience kind of any development of like limiting beliefs, or sort of saying to yourself, oh gosh, I couldn't do that again, or any kind of fear? Like how, and if you did, how did you push through those things?
So like one of them will be looking at other people who do not what I do, but similar, and seeing the same amount of time they've grown even faster and quicker than me. But then I always need to keep reminding myself that my lifestyle is different to theirs. Their lifestyle might just be that business, and then that's all that they need to focus on, so that they can really push the things out. I know what I need to do and what I want to do to get to that level, but I just need to remember that my lifestyle and my life is different to theirs. So it can be hard sometimes. You can get a bit disheartened, like, oh, why are they there and I'm not? But then you just got to remember everyone's journey is different. Everyone does it at different rates, but that doesn't make you as less important, or it doesn't mean it's not working. It just means that they're at a different stage than you.
Yeah, definitely. And when you talk about your lifestyle and the different things going around it, you said that you are studying graphic design and you also have a child as well. Do you also work outside of Snazz magazine? Are you balancing elements of that as well? Like, do you have a day job or?
So I don't have any other jobs outside of that, mainly because I've just come off of maternity. But then I did go back to that job, and then I handed in my notice, but then I got pregnant again, and then no one's going to hire a pregnant person. So it kind of was, but that's good. I didn't need all of that. Otherwise I would have burnt out anyway. So I'm very grateful for my husband, who's bringing in that at the moment. But it does give me the opportunity to focus on Snazz in the evenings and any other time that I've got free. Apart from looking after my daughter and obviously trying to get my dissertation and major project done.
Honestly, how you found the time to speak with me is super amazing. So thank you so much for that. I guess why I wanted to speak with you is I am very inspired by you. I think you are quintessentially what it means to be a woman in business and a creative woman in business. I think you're pretty comfortable to share your voice, use your voice. Also in your reels on Instagram, you're very authentic, you're yourself, you're playful, quirky. And so I guess if I was to ask you the question, what do you stand for as being a creative woman in business? What would your answer be to that?
It'll probably be going back to what I was talking about before, that it's just as important as any other career choice. And if you're really, really good at it and it's something that you really love to do, then absolutely stick out with it. And people might be like, oh, you don't earn as much money, but that's actually not true at all. There are so many different jobs, even if you don't work for yourself, just you work for another company, that you can get so much money for, and you can go really, really far with, but for some reason people just look down on it, and I just want people to stop looking down on it. And if you are a creative, an artist, a printmaker, whatever it is, you have every chance to be successful as any other career choice. And I just want to promote that as a creative myself and really get that out there.
And so do you have people who contact you that kind of ask for advice, or also need some understanding in terms of how to get from maybe where they're at the moment to somewhere like you are with your business?
Yes, I get people on Instagram, just random people all the time going, oh, you mentioned this, how do you feel about this? Or can I ask you for your advice on this? So I'd help them with that. But then I also offer like one-to-one coaching for people who want it to be more in depth, and it's more like bespoke. But then obviously that's like it's through video, and it's obviously a lot different. But again, you don't have to pay for anything like that. The magazine and the free tips on Instagram, it's all there. It's still ways that you can grow without needing to necessarily spend that much money.
That's amazing. And then if you were to give someone like one piece of advice to starting their own business, maybe similar to yours, what would you say to them?
I would say don't launch it straight away. That's something that I've learned from my others. Definitely, I don't know, even 3 months seems not that long, but when you're eager to do something, those 3 months before properly launching. So for example, it could be anything as innocent as, oh, I knit things, I really want to sell this, oh, I'll just set up an Etsy shop. Even that process is quite innocent and is what a lot of people do. But do all your product photography before you launch, do all your policies, get everything set up, get a document, put it all in there, get it all set up, so when you do launch, it's all ready and you know what you're doing because you've just done it all before you've launched it. And it's the same with everything else. It keeps things consistent, and it can really help that sales and make you look a little bit more professional, even though you might not want to look professional depending on what you sell, but it just makes it look a little bit better by knowing exactly what you're doing. Because then you miss that little bit of, oh, I've launched and no one's ordered yet, because your expectations might be like, oh, I thought Etsy did it all, or you might not completely understand how it works. Whereas it's a lot of things. It's not just putting a picture and what it is. There's a lot more into it. So definitely spend a couple of months before you launch learning all the things you need to do, or just the basics. It doesn't have to, you can learn on the go, but just a little bit of background knowledge so that you're sturdy for the beginning bit.
And then have you ever experienced something where you felt a little bit like forced to launch something, like maybe where you felt you weren't quite ready, but you had the demand there, so you had to meet it, or you felt obliged to meet it and you did it anyway and it turned out okay, or was a big failure?
Well, absolutely. With this magazine, I was focusing on uni at the same time, and then like time kept creeping up and I was like, oh, I've not got to where I need to get. But I got there in time and it was all okay. And obviously rushing into things can also still be okay, because then you're focused because you really want something to work. But, you know, everyone's different. Everything works out differently for everyone else. But yeah, it still has been okay, but definitely still do a little bit of prep.
Yeah, fantastic. And then I guess lastly, given your sort of wide and very many talents that you have, what's next for Snazz magazine? I know you mentioned that it's recently gone through a kind of new branding. I mean, what are you hoping to get out of that?
So the next magazines, or the ones that I've just started, they're more themed based. So each, like this one's going to be about Instagram, whereas before it was just more like ads and a few checklists here and there, whereas this is really diving into it and really like making it almost like a book. If anything, it's going to have so much information, you're not going to chuck it away, because it's there and you can take your time with it. You can read through it at whatever pace you want, and it's going to be more informational based, but still having those small businesses in there and as like little collages and like little inspirations to treat yourself, because we all should still treat ourselves. And it will be a bit more like that. And on top of that, I'm also launching a book, which will be like the basics that everyone needs to know or should be doing for their small business, whether or not you read that before you launch, so you have like the understanding, or you're adapting while you're already in the process of running your own business. It's just going to be a book full of the main things small businesses need, and then each magazine will be like a more in-depth dive into each of the categories for my chapters.
Amazing. Really, really cool. it's really fascinating because usually at this point where we kind of come to the creative exercise, I would largely give something that was very much dedicated to someone's craft or something that can kind of help them to pursue their business. But actually, you know, with you, you are on fire with your business. You have a lot of different things going on. You mentioned you've got a child, you're also pregnant. You've got, what, 10 weeks until your dissertation finishes at university. And when you were talking about your new branding, I just want to emphasize to our listeners what you do for other small businesses in order to promote them is really phenomenal and kind of quite selfless, really, in a way, the way that you promote them. And you mentioned about the importance of treating ourselves as well. So what I'm thinking for the creative exercise is maybe just to push you a little bit outside of your comfort zone a little bit. Maybe you could make a reel, because you do seem to be the queen of making really interesting different reels about how you're going to treat yourself.
Okay.
And you can interpret that in any way you wish. But I think this moment that you're at, you're obviously working incredibly hard and you're, you know, very on it, very successful. But yeah, I just want to like take a moment to probably pause and just go, what are you doing, or what are you going to do? Could be when you finish university. It could be as you're, well, it sounds like it's probably going to happen relatively about the same time, but just what are you going to do to treat yourself? And it can be a bit fun. It can be a bit quirky. And maybe it can also emphasize to some of the listeners the importance of also treating yourself as well as working as hard as you do.
Absolutely.
Cool. Okay, well, we'll pause it here and then we'll come back and see what you come up with.
Okie dokie.
Interested to buy the next issue of Snazz magazine, grow your audience organically, or simply just be super inspired by the color, pattern, and design that Bethany puts together for Snazz magazine? You can find all of this on Instagram. That's Snazz_magazine on Instagram. Or alternatively, would you want to buy the magazine? You can go to www.snazzmag.co.uk/shop.
Welcome back, Bethany. How did you find that creative exercise?
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, cool. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm quite interested for you to talk through it. So how are you going to treat yourself?
So every month I do like a reverse giveaway where I buy from other small businesses, and that's kind of, I could put it in my taxes, but I'm also treating myself. So it's almost like a win-win. So I basically just created a reel with some of my favorite buys that I had purchased through those, and then just showcase those on the reel.
Oh, nice. That is amazing. And you're still paying it forward as well, showcasing other small businesses. It's like it's in your blood, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what I'm curious, what products did you put there? What kind of things?
Well, I ran around the house and put it all in a box.
Oh, amazing. Very cool.
There was like hair scrunchies and hair like products, lots of hair scrunchies. So all of these.
Yeah.
There were some earrings. These were actually gifted, but I still love them. They match my branding.
They're beautiful.
Earrings.
Oh, who are they from, the earrings?
They're from Meg's Makes 95, I think her Instagram is.
Yes, I follow her actually. Yeah, probably through, because I know how Instagram works. Yeah, amazing. Very cool.
But no, absolutely love those. And then there was just like some candles and stuff.
Nice.
Then there was like a little baby hat ready for the next one.
Oh,
baby hat already.
Oh, that color is even more cuter.
I know.
Oh,
and then just loads of little just bits and more earrings and just stuff like that. Just things I've purchased through the reverse giveaways, really.
Amazing. Really fantastic. Well, for all our listeners out there, we will put all those different products and the followers on Instagram as well. We'll add in all the notes onto the podcast. But honestly, Bethany, thank you so much for joining, and just good luck with everything as well, the baby, university, and then also, I'm very excited for the most recent issue of Snazz magazine. So thank you for joining.
No, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. See you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
But wait, before we say goodbye, check out the reel. It is so cool, and I just love so much what Bethany does, supporting small businesses and getting their names out there. So check it out. Enjoy.
I think you should treat yourself. I know you were thinking about it, and you were like, I don't know. Do it. Do it. Who's going to stop you? Me? No. You? No. A man? No. So go get it.
Process-based, co-creating transformation and delivering results. Curious for more? Then head over to Instagram. That's Kalc, __ on Instagram.